What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. My name is Lucas Wenzel, and today we're talking about 10 players that you should be looking to stash ahead of this weekend slate and ahead of next week's waivers as well. But before we dive into that list, if you want a chance at winning a signed Christian Kirk Jacksonville Jaguars jersey, courtesy of bettingpros.com, your place to start betting smarter and not harder, you need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video, and that's it. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to come claim your prize. Let's start off our list with Tennessee Titans running back Tyjae Spears, who's rostered in 42% of leagues. 42% is getting into the range where Tyjae might not be available in your league, but considering the Titans are on bye this week, some managers could look to drop him to clear up roster space for other waiver wire ads. Week 6 marked the third time this year that Tyjae Spears outsnapped Derrick Henry. Touches-wise, Henry still handled the load, but Spears still left his mark against Baltimore with a 48-yard catch and run in the fourth quarter. Spears isn't going away anytime soon, and if you're a Derrick Henry manager, he is absolutely a must-have on your roster. And even if you don't, he is still one of the most coveted handcuffs in fantasy football right now with deep league standalone value. Second on our list is Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver for the New York Giants, who's rostered in 23% of leagues. Now, I'll name this right off the bat. At the time of this recording, Wan'Dale hasn't practiced this week with a knee issue. That being said, even if he doesn't suit up in week 7, he's still a phenomenal stash candidate. Rostering anybody on the Giants this year has been trivial at best, but the Giants looked like a whole different team in week 6. Wan'Dale caught all 8 of his targets for 62 yards and ran around on 88% of Tyrod Taylor's pass attempts. Since returning to action in week 3, Wan'Dale has served as the Giants' top wide receiver, and going forward, there's a real chance he competes with Darren Waller for the lead target getter week in and week out. Coming up next is Seattle Seahawks running back Zach Charbonnet, who's rostered in 46% of leagues. Again, 46% is getting a little high for my liking, but if he's still floating out on the waiver wire in your league, it's time to go stash him. To spend valuable second round draft capital on Charbonnet in the NFL draft and play him on only 29% of snaps this year is just appalling to me. Now, he has missed practice time this week with a hamstring injury, which is worth keeping an eye on, but once again, we're looking at a premium handcuff here. Charbonnet has been great on the ground this year, averaging 4.7 true yards per carry, which is 12th best in the league. Should anything happen to Ken Walker, it's going to be a mad dash to the waiver wire for the talented young rookie, and with elite running backs dropping like flies, it's never a bad idea to have your insurance policy locked down. Next on our list is Marvin Mims, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, who's rostered in 21% of leagues. It's no secret that Jerry Jeudy may be on the move as we approach a trade deadline, and Courtland Sutton certainly isn't out of that discussion either. If you wait to snatch Mims after one of those two is potentially dealt, though, you're already going to be too late. Mims' metrics are just absurd, and it's mind-boggling how he isn't getting more snaps. He's running a whopping 4.32 yards per route, which was second best in the league. His average depth of target is all the way up at 20.6 yards, and he's shown explosive downfield ability. Mims is one breakout game away from being the hottest waiver wire ad, and he's flashed all the potential necessary to be a prime stash candidate. Our fifth stash is going to be Baltimore Ravens running back Justice Hill, who's rostered in 40% of leagues. Again, another high roster percentage, but Hill might be the only player still available in more than 50% of leagues that's getting fantasy relevant volume. Gus Edwards has taken the lead duties in terms of rushing attempts, but Justice Hill has still seen 7+ rush attempts in all but one game this year, and he's drawn at least 3 targets and 3 receptions in 3 of 5 games. He's also found the end zone 3 times in those games, and the Ravens aren't hesitant to use him around the goal line. I'm not preaching anything flashy or attractive here, but considering how thin the running back position is getting, Justice Hill is one of the highest upside options left on the waiver wire and certainly has standalone value. My tight end stash of the week is Michael Mayer of the Las Vegas Raiders, who's rostered in 19% of leagues. As a Michael Mayer stan going into the 2023 NFL Draft, nothing makes me more happy than to finally see him getting involved in this Raiders offense. He caught 5 of 6 targets for 75 yards, which was good for the tight end 5 on the week in week 6. His snap shares have been on the rise too, going from 47% to 51% to 66% and up to 88% in week 6. Mayer's advanced stats are extremely encouraging as well over the last 2 weeks. He's earned a target on 25% of his routes, and per PFF, he's running 3.15 yards per route. Mayer could be a second half breakout candidate at the tight end position, especially when he draws the Bears, Lions, Giants, and Jets in his next 4 matchups. Our next stash is Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup, who's rostered in 19% of leagues. We've hit the bye-apocalypse in week 7, and like Tyjae Spears, Michael Gallup and the Cowboys are also on bye. However, now may be the best time to stash these players because they're flying under the radar of your league mates. Your league mates likely also don't realize that Michael Gallup drew 10 targets in week 6. He only managed to catch 3 of them for 24 yards, but he has been outpacing Brandon Cooks the entire season. Looking at the Cowboys' rest of season schedule as well, their really only unfavorable matchup for wideouts coming out of the bye will be the Rams in week 8, then the Panthers in week 11, even though they can still be exposed, then the Bills in week 15, where points still will be scored in that game. If you have room for Gallup or are in a deep league, he may be worth taking the flyer on. Another bye week stash we're going to take a look at is Devin Singletary, running back for the Houston Texans, who's rostered in 14% of leagues. Singletary outsnapped Dameon Pierce in week 6, and both backs saw 13 touches each. Singletary was the far more efficient back on the day, rushing for 58 yards on 12 attempts versus Dameon Pierce's 34 on 13 attempts. I'm keeping a very close eye on this split because, as I feared coming into the season, Pierce hasn't had a single game where he's averaged more than 4 yards per carry. Matter of fact, he's averaging only 2.9 yards per carry on the season. Just disgusting. Coming out of the bye, the Texans could look to make changes in how they split this backfield, which means there could be more touches incoming for Devin Singletary. He was on my list last week, and he makes it once again. This week, Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Rondale Moore is still rostered in less than 10% of leagues. Now, I get it. It's not like Rondale Moore has been earth-shattering or anything, but he drew 7 targets and was given another 3 rushing attempts in week 6. The volume is there for Rondale, and if instead of -4 rushing yards, he goes for 38 rushing yards, which has been his average on the season, we're looking at a completely different day for Rondale. It would have been his 3rd time scoring double digits on the season, and while James Conner is out, he'll likely be given 2 to 3 additional opportunities per game on the ground. For that reason alone, I would be looking to stash Rondale Moore until James Conner is fully back and integrated from the IR. Our last waiver wire stash of the week is somewhat nasty, but it's running back Royce Freeman of the Los Angeles Rams, who's rostered in only 1% of leagues. The Rams' backfield is all sorts of banged up right now. Kyren Williams is set to miss time with an ankle injury, and his backup Ronnie Rivers was placed on IR with a knee injury. The Rams' backfield is now down to 6th-round rookie Zach Evans and 5-year vet Royce Freeman. Zach Evans has been the hot waiver wire ad, but what if Sean McVay decides to lean on the experienced vet instead of the inexperienced 6th-round rookie? It's not like Sean McVay hasn't done crazier things in the past, like put Cam Akers in the doghouse unexplainably. It's a gross stash. It's a very deep stash. But if Royce gets the reins, he's going to be desired by all of your league mates next week. Alrighty, that is all I have for you today. Remember, if you want a chance at winning a signed Christian Kirk Jacksonville Jaguars jersey, courtesy of bettingpros.com, your place to start betting smarter and not harder, you need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below on this video, and that's it. That's all you need to do. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to come claim your prize when we announce it.